In this segment, we're going to demonstrate how Data Labs enables the DBA to configure governance rules. These rules will help prevent the users of Data Labs from impacting the production workloads. We're going to start by creating a maximally restrictive lab group. So let's go ahead and start the lab group wizard, and we're going to create a lab group called CC Campaign, and it's going to be in the DBC database, and we'll give it 10 gigabytes of space. So this will prevent the users of this lab group from impacting the rest of the system because they can't create or use up any more than this 10 gigabytes of space. The default lab group size will be 100 megabytes, and by default labs will expire in 60 days, so we'll be reclaiming space after those labs expire. This next field, the lab prefix, is a key field because this prefix is applied to all the data labs that get created. And then we can go into TASM and configure filter, throttle, or workload rules that will limit the queries that are running against these databases and tables. So let's make the prefix CCC, and if we wanted to, we could put in instructions here for the end users as to how they should load data into the tables. And we also have some defaults here for email notifications. We'll just leave those as they are. Go on to the next screen. Now, because Dan, the DBA, wants to retain as much control as possible, he's going to be the only administrator for this lab group. And we're going to assume that this lab group, possibly because it's a credit card campaign, may have information that should be restricted to a limited number of users. So we're going to take advantage of the private user option. And what this option does is it reduces the universe of users that could be added to a lab group from all the Teradata users to the ones we specify here. So we'll say that Abby, Arnold, and Audrey are the only users that are going to be allowed to create or access labs in this lab group. We don't need to apply defaults here. The final step in creating the lab group is to define how requests are handled. Now, anytime that a user wants to make some change to a data lab, they have to make a request. And this screen controls how those requests are handled. And by default, all those requests must be approved by the lab group owner, which is Dan. So we're just going to keep those settings, and we're ready to create our lab group. Okay, our lab group has been created, and now any of those 3 users can create labs in the lab group.